topic of spiritual healing is quite vast. In fact, there are so many different forms of healing, and this is just an overlay, an insight to the fundamental forms of healing. Healing is basically a thought, but often having a tactile output to that means touching or connecting with someone on a spiritual or physical level, often helps the person to a better understanding, because unless they can see the aura, unless they can sense the aura or the energy that around someone, they may just feel it. But sometimes we are taught to see and sense more. But on the holistic side, it's more difficult. You have to be far more attuned. And many people who receive healing probably are not healers in most cases. So they want to understand how it works. Many times this question comes up, and there's many different forms of answering it. It can come down to your belief system or your understanding or your lack of understanding. Maybe you think, well, you know, it doesn't exist, and sometimes we'll explain it to people by saying it's a universal energy force that is naturally radiating through our bodies, and we're now connecting to the patterns of energy that's in your body and making the difference to that person. It realigns their energy fields, their chakras and everything else in that particular vein. So it's very hard to define it, but there are so many different practices, from spiritual healing, which is we try to teach mechanics of the healing. So there's a structured way of working around the body. So every healer that we teach has the same way, and the last 500 are the same. Lots of people out there are Reiki practitioners, and whatever level they're running at, this too is a form of healing, and many other ones. There's sound healing, acupuncture, massage, qigong, all sorts of practices, holistic practices that are allowing the student or maybe the client to work with those energies or understand those energies. So what may suit one may not suit another. The Chinese way of life is very much into acupuncture and very much accepted, where in the Western world, well, we do bits of it, and as what I'm aware of in some of the national health hospitals, there is spiritual healing done, but not in the sense that it would be called spiritual healing. In America, quite often it comes under the form of TT, or therapeutic touch, and this is too a very gentle way of connecting with someone's body and allowing those energies to go forward. Sometimes spiritual healing and faith healing is mixed up. People say, are you a faith healer? Or do I have to believe in the healing that you're giving? And the answer is no. But if you have a very strong belief system, you're probably more open and more sensitive to those vibrations. And if you're actually on that side of understanding, you may be more accepting, and you might actually create your own self-healing. Well, the most important thing that we have is our mind, and our mind can make us well or make us unwell, physically or emotionally, or both. So keeping that in good balance is very, very good. Often we talk of doing absent healing. Absent healing is having a list of people's names. And when we talk of healing, healing is prayers, a very positive thought form prayers. And different religions will see it done in a different way, but it's a prayer with an output that is positive, an output that is caring. Sometimes you may know who needs that, or it could be sent to places in the world where there is conflict or strife. Those healing energies do work, do effect, and do influence so many people in the right sort of way. Often it's talked about, do animals benefit from healing? Well, you can't convince an animal that healing is good for them, because they won't understand that. But the touch, or that radiated energy that you're sending out, which is not your energy, is the energy that is that, I could almost call it that divine energy that's channeled through you. You're sending that energy. And for those who can see the aura and see the hands, you'll see the energies around that. So animals do benefit from the healing. We can't perform miracles, but we work with a person or an animal or even a plant to give them that love and that energy to reinforce their own healing abilities, to enhance that. Many times I was called into sheltered housing where elderly people had fallen over and broken arms and limbs, and often the healing process allowed that joint to heal even quicker, which used to puzzle some of the doctors. Some understand it, some don't. Some people understand it, some don't. It doesn't really matter. It's there for everyone, whether you believe in it or you don't. I've had quite a few clients over the years who didn't believe in it. Says, if you don't get a result 5 times, that's it. I'm out. Well, in most cases, with the odd exception, that's happened. Sometimes It's the healing is there to help people in the time of them going over, and that's a very difficult time. But that healing does make everything a little more bearable, a bit more comfortable, not just for the person that's going to depart the earth plane, but for those who are around. And we've seen that effect happen on the houses. Many years ago, I was asked to go and see a greyhound dog that had broken its back. Although it had some immediate surgery, they weren't sure if the dog would survive. The good news is it did. The good news is that these people, out of desperation, asked for healing for the dog. It was very hard to give a dog healing when the dog doesn't get excited, but it had its healing on a weekly basis for perhaps a few months. And the people complained. The people complained, says, I can't understand what's happening, because yes, the dog's a lot better, but we used to play the family games on a Friday night. We were always arguing. Since the healing started, we've never argued. So that healing is going to the client, whether it's an animal or a person. And many times it goes to the people around. It saturates into the wood, into the places, into the building, into the people, into the materials. Think of it like radio waves. It's very hard to measure those. There are many things or instruments they've tried. Kirlian photography is one of them. There's also a more genuine one, which is they would call a SQUID, the superconducting quantum interface device. Sounds very grandiose, but it measures the biometric energy in the body. It's not in the same form as a Tesla. It's a much smaller energy field. But most people who are trained in the meditation side will often see auras. So you can find that level of attunement. So it's really out there for you to decide, is healing for you? Would you accept that healing, or would you rather have it in the form of a prayer? It makes no difference. So just understand, you all can have an effect on others. Our minds have an effect on ourselves, and that's difficult sometimes. But why don't we change it around and just do 5 minutes a day for healing? Just 5 minutes a day for healing. You would feel better, other people would feel better. I hope this short video may have prompted you into the thinking, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? Before you reject anything, explore it. If you've explored every part of it, even looked at it, then you might have a better understanding. So don't reject out of fear. Look at it, try to make it sure, see if it works. It's there for everyone, and it's very much one of the most amazing things you can do, is send out positive thoughts, positive prayers to people to make them feel better. Isn't that what it's all about? Well, let's hear your questions. You know where to put them on the box below, or drop me an email to askadrian2reply@gmail.com.